All right, let's dive in. The world of One Piece is, well, it's huge, and the power system can get pretty wild. So today we're going to simplify things. We're asking one big question. What are the absolute most powerful, god-tier abilities out there? We're going to cut through the noise and rank them. Let's get into it. So let's start with a really simple idea. Just imagine for a second, what if you could take a single bite of some weird-looking fruit, and boom, you have a permanent, unbelievable superpower. This one concept is pretty much the foundation for everything we're about to break down. So yeah, in the One Piece world, these things are called devil fruits, and they give you these just insane abilities. But, and this is a huge but, there's a catch. The second you take a bite, the ocean basically says, nope, not you anymore. You can't swim. Ever again. It's a true devil's bargain. You're trading a fundamental survival skill for a shot at becoming a god. Now, like I said, not all these powers are created equal, not even close. Some are just on a completely different level, so that's what we're doing today. We're counting down the top 5 most powerful abilities in the entire story, the absolute peak of what a devil fruit is capable of. Okay, kicking off our countdown, coming in at number 5. Let's start with just pure, raw destruction. I want you to imagine a power so immense that you don't even have to touch anything. You can literally punch the empty air in front of you and create shockwaves powerful enough to cause earthquakes and whip up massive tsunamis. This is the Gura Gura no Mi, the Tremor fruit. It used to belong to the legend Whitebeard, and now it's in the hands of the infamous Blackbeard. It is, without a doubt, the strongest paramecia or superhuman-type fruit, because it lets you literally crack the air like it's glass. The result? Total, unmatched destruction over a huge area. Just devastating. All right, coming in at number 4. Here, we're shifting gears from pure destructive power to something more about absolute control. Something way more tactical. So instead of just brute force, what if you had ultimate precision? Imagine creating this bubble, this sphere around you, and inside that sphere, you could manipulate absolutely everything. People, objects, the ground, you name it, with the skill of a master surgeon. This is the Ope Ope no Mi, used by Trafalgar Law, and it's nicknamed the ultimate devil fruit for a good reason. When Law creates his room, he's basically a god in that space. But the real kicker is its awakened ability. You could be fighting someone with skin as tough as steel, and it just doesn't matter. This fruit lets you bypass all of that and attack their organs directly from the inside. It is an absolute game changer. Okay, we are now entering the top 3, and this is where the powers start to, well, they start to completely break the rules of reality as we know it. Think about a black hole for a second. It's a point of gravity so intense that nothing, not even light, can get away. Now, what if a person could become that, a walking, talking void that just swallows everything in its path, including the superpowers of their enemies? This is the Yami Yami no Mi, the dark fruit. And yep, that's Blackbeard's second appearance on our list. It's called the most evil power, and man, it lives up to the name. It controls darkness and gravity, pulling everything into a crushing abyss. But its most terrifying trick? It's the only power that can completely nullify another devil fruit ability just by touching the user. And that, right there, is why this fruit is so high on the list. You see all these other god-tier, reality-bending powers we're talking about? Well, they mean absolutely nothing if Blackbeard gets his hands on you. The Yami Yami no Mi is the ultimate counter. It's a power of absolute nothingness that can snuff out even the most incredible abilities. It's the great equalizer in a world full of gods. All right, coming in hot at number 2 is a power that's really all about one thing. Just overwhelming, unbelievable scale. Forget about tactics, forget about tricks. Just imagine a power that lets you transform into the single strongest thing in existence. A creature so colossally huge and powerful that its destructive force is on the same level as the legendary, planet-destroying ancient weapons. So this is a bit of a new one. We're talking about the mythical Zoan fruit belonging to Prince Loki of ELBAPH. We don't even have a name for it yet, but we know he's been called the strongest thing in the world. And why? Because he turns into a dragon so ridiculously massive, it's the biggest we have ever seen. And look, this isn't just a big lizard. This is a flying, breathing, walking catastrophe. And now, the number 1 spot. The ability that sits at the very, very top of the power hierarchy. A power so completely absurd, it feels like it breaks the story itself. I need you to forget everything you know about physics. Forget cause and effect. Instead, imagine a power that runs on the logic of an old cartoon. You know, where you can run off a cliff and you don't actually fall until you look down. Or you can just pull a giant hammer out of thin air because it'd be funny. This, right here, is the true power of Monkey D. Luffy's devil fruit, the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika. For literally hundreds of episodes, we all thought it just made him a rubber guy. But nope, its real name is the Sun God fruit, and its actual power is, and this is wild, the ability to turn imagination into reality. His only limit is what he can dream up. So, how does that even work? Well, it kind of breaks down into 3 simple steps. First, Luffy thinks it, like, hey, a helmet would be useful right now. Then he has to believe it, fully embracing that wild, creative, absurd idea. And finally, he just makes it real. He forces that cartoon logic not just onto himself, but onto his enemies and the world around him. It's the most ridiculous and freest power imaginable. So there you have it, the top 5 powers. A pretty clear ranking, right? Number 1 is imagination itself. But what if there's a group of beings out there so ancient, so powerful, that the very rules of devil fruits just don't apply to them at all? And that brings us to our honorable mention, the 5 elders, the secret rulers of the entire world. We have no idea if their powers come from devil fruits or something else, something far more demonic. Each of them can transform into a monstrous being, like the invulnerable Fangxi form of Topman Workery you're seeing here, which just tanked one of Luffy's strongest attacks. They seem to be immortal, and their powers are a total mystery. They're the ultimate wildcards. So, that leaves us with one final huge question. We've seen the power of a god who can literally bend reality to his imagination, and we've just had a glimpse of demons who seem to be unkillable. So, when those forces finally, inevitably collide, what's truly the strongest power in the world? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Thanks for tuning in.